Charlotte-Éléonore de la Mothe-Houdancourt was born in 1654 as the youngest of the three daughters of Philippe de la Mothe-Houdancourt, Duke of Cardon and Favel, and Louise de Prier, who was the governess of the children of France. Charlotte was married off in 1671 to Louis-Charles de Lévis, Duke of Ventadour and Governor of Limousin. The union produced one child, Anne-Geneviève de Lévis, who was born in February 1673. The arranged marriage was not a happy one, and shortly after her daughter's birth, Charlotte left her marital home to settle in Paris. Charlotte had a long career at court, where she was a well-known figure for over 70 years. Before her marriage, she was appointed lady-in-waiting to the Queen from 1660 to 1671. She was employed as lady-in-waiting to the king's sister-in-law Elizabeth Charlotte of the Palatinate between 1684 and 1703. In 1704, she was appointed governess to the Duke of Bretagne, who was the firstborn of the king's great-grandchildren. Officially, she served as second to her mother, Louise de Prier, aided by assistant governesses. When her mother died in 1709, she took over her mother's position. In 1712, an epidemic of measles broke out and affected the royal family. Several members died from it, including the Dauphin Louis de Bourgogne and his wife Marie-Adélaïde of Savoy. They left behind two sons, Louis of Bretagne and Louis of Anjou. These two children also contracted the measles. After his father's death, the eldest living son, who was 5, had become the new Dauphin, and physicians put their knowledge to work to save him. Madame de Ventadour observed their treatment of the child, which included bleeding him. This treatment severely weakened the boy, and Louis of Bretagne also died from the disease. Madame de Ventadour was determined not to let Louis of Anjou suffer the same fate, and she saved his life by locking herself and 3 nursemaids in a room with the boy, denying physicians access while feeding him wine and biscuits until he recovered. After his recovery, she became a mother figure to Louis, and he would call her Maman Ventadour from that moment on. In 1715, Louis became the King of France. Charlotte remained the governess of the child king until 1717, when it was felt that the king should be brought up by men. Louis XV was now placed under the care of the 78-year-old François de Neuville de Villeroy. At Louis XV's coronation, Madame de Ventadour would be given a seat of honor upon request of the king. Before we continue our story, I'd like to present to you another wonderful history channel.
Hello and welcome to the Royal Women. I tell stories about royal, noble, and interesting women in history. Whether they were famous, scandalous, or tragic, they all deserve to have their stories told. I hope you'll visit my channel to learn about someone you may never have heard of that impacted history in her own small way.
Do make sure to check out her wonderful content. Charlotte, now no longer Louis XV's governess, was once again appointed lady-in-waiting to La Palatine, who was the mother of the regent Philippe II d'Orléans. Between 1721 and 1725, Madame de Ventadour was appointed to be the first lady-in-waiting to the king's fiancée Mariana Victoria of Spain, who was brought to the court of France after her betrothal to Louis XV. The marriage between Mariana and Louis XV never came to pass, and to the great sorrow of Madame de Ventadour, Mariana was sent back to Spain at the age of 7, allowing the king to marry a princess of childbearing age. In 1727, she was able to resume her post as governess to the royal daughters when the king had his first 2 children. In 1735, she handed over her post as governess to her granddaughter Marie-Isabelle de Rohan, the Duchess of Taillard. Charlotte-Éléonore de la Mothe-Houdancourt died on December 13, 1744, at the age of 90, at the Château de Glatigny in Versailles. Thank you for watching.